All right, let's move into this last segment then. Really, I think we should start calling this episode series two news points and a talking point because that's kind of what this ends up being. We talk about two things from the MLS news and then one thing from Twitter that kind of got a buzz and we start talking about it.
Is this the Twitter? Is this what you're insinuating?
Yes,
All
this is
right,
where
what do we
we're
got?
we're transitioning now. So after Inter Miami was bounced from Champions Cup, there was a talking point that was brought up that general MLS fandom would never increase if we aren't successful in international competitions. It was mentioned in the tweet, and I think the phrasing was something along the lines of, "Why would anyone care about regular season games when they have no larger impact on their international importance?" Something along those lines. I'm just gonna throw it to you and let you run with it. Let me know. Let me know what you're thinking on that.
I don't think I don't think enough fans care about CONCACAF Champions Cup that if we're unsuccessful in there that we're not going to grow because we've grown year after year and we've won CONCACAF Champions Cup once in the last like 20 years. So that comment means nothing to me. I mean, unless there's like statistics to back it up and the fact that we're and if there's something that's showing that we could be 10 times more successful and popular than we are right now if we were winning Champions Cup, then I will take the comment more seriously. But I think they're just kind of blowing smoke on looking at whatever they can to hate on MLS, and that's just kind of what it feels like. It just feels like, oh, MLS is bad in CONCACAF Champions League, and they can't be a serious league unless they're winning CONCACAF Champions League every year. And people will only take it seriously and start being a fan once they start winning it. And I think you and I have talked about this enough times. If they start winning the CONCACAF Champions League consistently, it's just going to shift to the next reason. Oh, they're just playing CONCACAF teams. They need to test themselves against real competition outside of North America, and the bar will always shift. There will always be another reason why MLS is not popular or not more popular than it should be. And I don't think the average fan. Okay, so one, I don't think the average fan even knows what CONCACAF Champions League is. And two, I don't think they would care either way. I feel like a lot of fans are probably of the same like they're coming from the American sports background with like MLB, NBA, NFL, where there is no like Champions League type of competition. Like the regular season and the playoffs is all they watch. Like that's the only competition they have. So I'm thinking when they shift over and they become MLS fans or they start getting into MLS, that's all they're going to care about here too. They're not going to have any idea what's going on with Champions Cup and all that unless they were already a fan of, my guess would be a European team. Otherwise, I just don't think they know about Champions Cup. I don't think they care about Champions Cup. I think if we won it 5 straight years in a row, it maybe marginally increases our popularity, and the bar will just shift to a new way to say that MLS is dropping the ball.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of validity to it, but not as much as some of our other talking points, right? So I can understand, like you mentioned, it does have a little bit of an impact on those who those who know the game, right? Um, understand the impact of international competition, understand what it means to be the best in the region and all this stuff, right? Those people, I think, are either not following MLS to begin with, and if it increases, like you mentioned, it's oh MLS is good in the region, I'm going to start watching it. That's not the case. It's oh it's only Concacaf. They wouldn't be able to touch it in Europe, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. The other thing is you do have that marginal kind of on the bubble where they're like, oh, I like MLS, but they're not competitive. That group is very, very small. Like the oh, it's MLS and they're holding themselves back with roster rules, which means they can't be competitive in X, Y, and Z. So whatever, right? I don't think that's actually a necessarily a bad take. Like that's probably true. We're hurting ourselves, and we've talked about that a little bit. We're hurting ourselves, and it's holding us back and whatever. But I don't think that those two are connected, right, Grace? Do you think they're connected? She says no. I don't think they're connected, right? I think, and here's kind of the thing, right? We did an episode earlier in the year about intercontinental competitions or inter-country competitions, right? And their lack of attendance, right? The general fan that cares about their MLS team outside of very few markets, right? St. Louis was good, really has no idea that there's international competition outside of Leagues Cup anyway, because it's not put out there, right? He mentioned New England beat Charlotte, and it was a big win, right? It brought them up the first win of the season. And then Caleb Porter came out and was like, "Oh, there's we're focused more on next week anyway. The Club America game is pretty much gone," for paraphrasing. And he thinks that nobody in Boston will care about a team that isn't allowed to build a roster that can compete with Club America. That's basically was his thing. Like, oh, he's in Boston. They're all full of great super teams, Celtics, Red Sox, whatever. If New England isn't able to compete with Club America because they can't build rosters that can compete with Club America, the general fan won't be there. That's probably true, right? If there's a general soccer fan in there that is watching New England play with 3 designated players, a U22, and that's pretty much it, maybe they're more enticed to come in if they have a roster like Club America that's worth $40 million. Maybe that's probably a fair point. That being said, I don't think that the result against Club America is going to pull anything out. So, for reference, New England pulled 22,000 for their home match against Charlotte 4 days before Club America. They got 12K to play against one of the biggest teams in Mexico. And again, we've talked about why, right? We talked about that in other episodes. Do people get confused on soccer Twitter? Yes. I am one of them. Like you truly at times can lose focus on the disparity between the casual soccer fan and soccer Twitter. 2 completely separate groups, right? Everyone online, including us here on this podcast, understands and loves this game with a passion. No doubt. We get the significance of the global level, the importance of the international games, the player transfers, all of it. We love how it interconnects, right? But generally, especially in America, your fan cares about the team they support on the weekends, right? International competitions like the CCC, even Leagues Cup, won't play nearly as impactful of a part as the underperformance in the league, right? And you mentioned it before, where their results in the league are going to be more of an impact, right? So nobody in Boston loves the Celtics, Red Sox, or I hate that I have to say this, the Patriots, because they're successful against the Japanese baseball league, the Euro basketball league, or the Australian football league, right? Nobody's walking around like, oh my God, we don't play those guys, and we wouldn't, I'm not focused on that because we're not doing anything internationally. Their love or hatred for their team, go Jets, always stems from their success in the regular season against other teams that they know more of, right? Someone else made a good point in the comments where realistically, there are 12 teams in the world that have international dominance, right? City, TSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona. I can't name them all because, Euro, who cares, right? So the person asked, does that mean that the teams that don't have the domination in their local markets, should they just not have fans? Of course not, right? That's the whole point of this. They care more about what they're doing in their league than if they can compete with Man City every other week. Overall, I do think that this was just one of the heat of the moment takes, right? That nobody really agrees with, and that's fine, right? You have those. At the end of the day, I think he was calling for what most of us were calling for: more investment to compete, and more investment to compete internationally, which is going to be great. It's going to increase competitive and eyes on the league. That's great. I just think he picked the wrong comparison, right? I think the fan support is going to be increased with spending and roster building that we've just covered in this episode. But I also think that it stems more from league success than international success.
Yeah, well, that's the way it's marketed. You're not, like MLS, individual teams, they're going to be marketing, their star players. They're going to be marketing the star players of the teams they're going up against. They're not marketing Guadalajara, the Chivas, Guadalajara. They're not marketing Club America. Like, so the fans are, you can go watch your team. Yeah, that's exciting, whatever. But I want to go watch the team play against Zach Steffen and Jordy Mihailovic, guys that I know would have been marketed to me, versus a team that I know nobody on. Like, I think the marketing is a huge reason why you'll see more people care about regular season performances than they will international. So yeah, I mean, I still stand by the fact that I think international success or failure is not going to swing the needle on popularity of the league.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And again, you brought up marketing and marketing teams, right? Why would MLS market a league that they're trying to compete against for eyes, right? Why would they make it
Yeah.
known? Now, again,
The Premier League's
those
not like, look at we're going up against Robert Lewandowski. Like let's market Lewandowski. Let's market, like Mbappe, like
right, and
Messi.
because of the culture there, everybody knows who they are anyway. They don't need to. But here, when you're fighting for attention and you're fighting for it not only for the league below you, but also the leagues in your own backyard, there's no reason to try and get it. Focus on what you're doing first, and then it's a hurdle we don't need to tackle just yet, right? I think the moves that we've made and covered in this episode are going to be really, really good for us, and it's going to help increase competition in these international competitions. It's going to help us bring fans in with bigger signing players. It's all going to help encourage that. But I don't think our lack of international success, with the lack of importance that it has on the casual soccer fan anyway, is going to impact casuals watching the game.
Agreed. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, all right.